Alright, I want to go on to section 9.15, and it's called Circle Circumference. This is going to be a pretty easy section, but I want to go into a little bit of detail in some of the topics. Now, this is going to be a kind of a throwback to perimeter. Recall that the perimeter means the distance around the outside of a shape. And the two shapes that we really looked at were squares and rectangles. Our square kind of looks like this, and our rectangle kind of looks like this. Now the perimeter, if I want the distance around the outside, my measurement of my square first is going to have all of my sides are going to be equal to S for side. And in this case, I can say that my perimeter is equal to adding up the entire outside, or S plus S plus S plus S. And I can simplify that into simply 4S, right? My rectangle, though, it is lengths of width and length and length. So my perimeter in this case is I'm going to add up width plus length plus width plus length. And if I simplify it, I'm going to have 2W plus 2L. So that brings us to a new shape that we're going to be using. And we're going to be looking at this shape. And this shape is called, of course, the circle. And we don't say that this shape has a perimeter so much. We say that it instead has a circumference. And the circumference of it does go around the entire outside and back through. Now it's a little difficult to actually measure the circumference because we don't have a bendy ruler that we can go around the outside edge. You can, however, use like a string and kind of measure it around, then make the string go straight, and then see how far the actual distance is. So if I did that, I could unwrap my circle and kind of lay it straight. If I kind of cut it, and then I could take my length of this, and this would ideally equal the circumference of my circle. However, we have a formula that's going to make it much, much easier to get to the circumference. And we can get the circumference, the formulas, C equals, based on two other things called radius and diameter. So the circumference is really equal to the diameter times pi, or d pi we say. And the circumference is also equal to 2r pi. All right. First of all, what's diameter and what's radius? Well, the radius looks like this. And it goes from one point on the edge to the center. From the edge to the center. And diameter goes, oops, if I do a little better, there we go, edge to edge through the center. And these are the two things that we're going to be needing. Recall that the radius, it doesn't matter where it goes, the radius is always equal in a circle. The same with the diameter. No matter which side I cut from and go to the opposite side, as long as it's through the center, I will be able to use it and it'll be able to function just fine. Okay, let's look at a couple of examples quick. Example 1. In this section, they're just going to give you the diameter or a radius, and they're going to ask you to find the circumference. So for example here, they're going to say, if the radius is 3 inches, what's the circumference? Okay, well, I'm going to use my formula that I just had, is C equals 2r pi, 2 times 3 inches times pi. 2 times 3 inches is 6 inches, and I'm going to say 6 pi inches. Now, if I want to, I can always remember that pi is approximately equal to 3.14. Now, I can use it as this. This is a perfectly acceptable answer. 6 pi is a number, and it's a number that we can use. We can also multiply it out if we'd like. 6 times 3.14, and that would give us 18.84, and this would be inches. And that would be acceptable as well. Both of these would be totally fine. Let's take a look at one more quick example. in this case, they're going to say if the diameter is 12 feet, what's the circumference? Okay, I'm going to use my formula. C equals d pi. And I'm just going to put my 12 feet right in there. And then I can see that my answer is 12 pi feet, or 12 times 3.14 is equal to 37.68. And both of those would be acceptable. All right, not too bad. Go ahead and good luck.